we're going to have a staff presentation, consideration of approval of agreement with the Federal Highway Administration. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Ken Bryan, Director of Planning. Just have a couple slides here about this grant that we were awarded last fall. This is the agreement for the grant with Federal Highway. So the Safe Streets and Roads for All program is part of a federal program now focusing on safety of a roadway network across the United States. For the year that we're looking at, there's $5 billion that's allocated over 5 federal fiscal years. Edmond was successful with our grant application in receiving $3.6 million. Our local match, required local match, is about $900,000. We have 5 years to spend those funds from the time the grant is fully executed. Some projects that we're envisioning with this grant are those high priority projects that were identified as part of the Edmond Shift long-range mobility plan. So we're looking at some demonstration projects on the high injury network. We'll take a look at a map of that here shortly, with the opportunity to study the feasibility of protected bike lanes, some key corridors throughout town, and identify options and do some public engagement and feedback on some of those corridors. So this is a exhibit from the Edmond Shift plan itself. This shows what the high injury network displayed as a heat map. We will be looking what they were called demonstration projects, which are supposed to be temporary in nature. So we have 4 locations that were derived from this analysis. They include Santa Fe and Edmond Road, Kelly and Edmond Road, 15th Street between Broadway and Boulevard, and then 15th and Bryant. So we'll be focusing in on those 4 intersections for demonstration projects. Then we'll also be doing a series of corridor studies, the first of which will be, we used to be calling it the Broadway corridor study, but that's been expanded to the US 77 corridor study. So that'll go from the south city limits at Comfort Drive, north along Broadway, turning east at downtown on 2nd Street and out to I-35. So we'll be doing a study on that significant corridor. We'll be partnering with ODOT on that, and that scope of work is close to being finalized, so you'll be seeing something about that very soon, funded in part with this grant. With that as the overview, I'm happy to try to answer any questions you might have about the grant itself. It's a new program, so we'll see where we are in terms of being able to answer those questions.
Thank you very much. Council, any questions, comments?
Go ahead. Couple comments, a couple questions. One is this last year represented the highest number of pedestrian fatalities, not just for the state of Oklahoma. We weren't necessarily a trend center, but it's a national phenomenon that matches the number of injuries and fatalities for our youth, ages 15 to 25. Dying or having a severe injury in a car crash is their number 1 cause of severe injury or death in the United States. It happens because of one simple thing. It's because we're digitally drunk drivers. We're connected to our mobile and technology devices, and we also do that while we're in pedestrian mode, either walking or on a scooter. Those 2 things literally collide. So this isn't just an effort in Edmond, but it's a need to recognize the number of severe injuries and fatalities. I think all of us, the thing that we lament the most is having to go to a funeral or the bedside at the hospital for a young person, which their future is taken from them, and all too quickly it happens to be because they're just a young, inexperienced driver who's mixing technology. While most of us don't see we're very well versed and don't drink and drive. Digitally drunk driving is killing just as many people these days. 2 things that stand out. One, in my district, in Ward 1, I get a lot of feedback just around 2nd Street, mobility, how that interacts with Broadway, that goes down, into UCO. The idea, I think, hopefully for Edmond downtown is you'll be able to get a nice bite to eat or at a coffee shop. Then you'll be able to go, hopefully, to Sprouts up to Stevenson Park in that area, then come down over to UCO and kind of in a big loop. What, if any, consideration does this have in regards to sort of any downtown, Second Street, any mobility on that?
So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of corridors that we might study and feasibility analysis that we might do. So we would certainly be taking a look at the downtown area and the, active transportation network that connects downtown to the rest of the community. So yeah, absolutely, it would be part of this program.
So I would definitely know probably every counselor has a favorite sort of hot spot that they get calls on. But for me in particular, I just know that Second Street in regards to a safe passage across. You look at Festival Marketplace, you look at all the great activity that we're having downtown, Herd on Herd, and how are we getting people through there using different forms of transportation. The other one, I know our mayor loves to talk about the transportation off-season, and we're in that right now because our number one transporter of people and there is our Edmond Public Schools. And so when it shifts to the fall, we get a flood of calls in regards to drop-off, pickup. I know our strategic plan has a new item in there that I wanted to put on there in regards to evaluating each of our Edmond Public School sites for drop-off, safety, and so I hope that this is done in tandem. And then as we come up with our list of what school sites, either that are physically already there or that are being proposed by Edmond Public Schools, we have a rating system in regards to, are they green, meaning that they are generally safe and can somewhat efficiently drop off kiddos? Are they yellow because they have some sort of concern that maybe some low-hanging fruit they can address? And then, of course, red, that there are some concerns in and around safety, crossings, mobility, shoulders, and that kind of stuff. So my other request would be is not doing this in a silo, but doing it in tandem with those properties that have some of our most vulnerable citizens, our kiddos that are being transported back and forth. So I would just make that comment as well.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other comments, council? Well, thank you very much. We'll take each item individually here. No other discussion or comments? What would you like to do, council, on item 9B?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? Please cast your vote. That item's passed. Thank you very much.